Hi, everyone. I'm here with Paul Goodman of Dental Nachos and our sponsor, Dentist Job Connect. Um, we were talking in private about something, and I told him, it would be a nice thing to talk about this and, kind of put it out in both of the groups so people can start thinking this way. And if we are prepared for these new ideas, I think we can handle
Yeah.
the dental day a lot better. Paul, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Love talking with you, Bob. I know it's at the time of this recording, a big football weekend. I see you're all jazzed up. The Eagles dominated last night, so I'm going to wear this around all day in Philadelphia. But before I get started on my dad day, I'm glad to chat with you about some of the uncomfortable conversations dentistry needs to have to grow, succeed, and really become aware of what's happening out there, especially in the job space.
Right, right. By the way, the Eagles didn't have to do much.
Yeah, that's
Anyways,
true.
we were talking about in one of the groups, either mine or yours, the discussion came up that there are not enough residencies
Right.
around the country. Personally, I did not do a residency program because I felt that I was well prepared when I got out of dental school. But I hear from younger people posts that you have that some dental schools are not really doing that great of a job preparing these students for the real world, and they come out with $500,000 of debt, and now they need better preparation for these procedures so they can do this.
Of
now,
course, I'm going to interject, Bob, with the football theme. The only way the Chiefs moved on is because their backup quarterback, Chad Henne, had done many reps, and he came in at 37 years old, and he had the muscle memory and the mindset. But if that was their backup quarterback out of college, that would not have happened that way, right? So if they don't get the reps in during dental school, and a lot of dental schools have specialty programs, so they're not getting the reps in endo and extraction. I have to share with you, as someone who's hired many, associates, the need for general dentistry, it's not over. It's just that when an associate can do more than just fillings and crowns, they offer an added opportunity to the practice. And it can just be one thing, extraction bone grafts, for example. And the real value of a residency, in my opinion, is the extraction experience, the professional development, things like that. So I think we just have to be realistic and say these dental schools are not providing enough reps to create competence when they leave dental school.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of get it as well, because if you continuously increase the size of the class,
right,
and you don't have enough patients, not all of it is a conspiracy theory. Some of it is, but that's the case. So people criticize DSOs, and I look at them as a place for new grads to find a job. There are only a limited number of private practice jobs out there, and there's gonna be some practices that hire these associates that don't have enough patients. And
why do you think, Bob? I say, because you're a solo GP, and I'm encouraging you, kindly annoying you, like my friend Dr. Todd Fleischman, to eventually incorporate an associate. But in an authentic way, why do you think a lot of solo GPs, is it they're not ready, they don't have enough, a control freak problem, I don't want the hassle? Because you're right. I mean, there are not enough private practices willingly incorporating associates full-time or part-time. Why do you think that is?
I think it all comes down with lack of education by people like myself. I was ignorant of the subject that, when you hire an associate, you're expected to slow down if you don't have enough patients. And this kind of makes everyone nervous that if I hire an associate, can I pay my bills? I think that is the biggest obstacle for many of the dentists out there, that they may think, my income will go down. That means they're not ready. They're not ready.
You're right. I mean, you saw Dr. Todd Fleischman speak, right? And I said, Todd, you need an associate. He goes, no, not yet. I said, you need one. And he said, Paul, you were right. I needed one. And you saw him, he's extraordinarily happy that he's incorporated an associate on his terms. Maybe it's 2 days a week, maybe it's not full-time. but I encourage all private practice owners to at least explore ways to incorporate the next generation of dentistry into their offices. And, just to be authentic about Todd, his associate also works in a very busy insurance practice. So she sees fee for service and she sees insurance, and she's getting an amazing real world education by two private practice dentists with different models. And I mean, I don't want to, I'm not standing on a soapbox. I don't know exactly what that meant back in the day, but I do want to encourage private practice dentists to at least explore what it looks like to hire an associate as we dig into this DSO situation.
Yeah, to be honest, that's another misconception I had, is that I thought every associate comes out and wants to do a full-time job. But if the option that, hey, you work for me 2 days a week and you work for someone else 2 to 3 days a week,
yeah,
it may be a good way out.
Imagine, Bob, if there was a platform where someone took 700 resumes and 2,300 dentists, and for a very affordable price, any dentist, solo GP, group practice, DSO could connect with all of these amazing associates, send them messages. Imagine if that was invented. That'd be pretty cool.
I still have to do that on our Dentist Job Connect. It is nerve-wracking, Paul. It's not as easy. Like, I put out that post about, hey, I may be looking for a associate soon, and I got a lot of great contacts, actually.
Awesome.
But I got scared.
What'd you get scared about? It's a dental therapy session. So basically, Bob, this is why we're so special. You've made this amazing group, and you said, "Hi, I'm Bob. I might want to hire an associate." And all these people said, "Hey, Bob, I would like to learn about your job." And somehow this made you scared. Share with us this dental therapy.
It's normal human being behavior. It's unknown. It's unknown. And it's not just me. I went to the office and I kind of mentioned it to the staff. They're all looking at me like, "Oh, that's not going to work." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, no, the staff has hung around with us, so no wonder that they are contaminated by us. Yeah. So if you say to a team, though, and this is what I said to a dentist when I was in Ohio speaking, say to your team, "Do you like the hours that you work? Like, do you like making the money that you work? Do you like your schedule that you're here? Well, if I work less, that means you might have to work less. So what if we found an awesome licensed dentist to cover those hours I wasn't here on Tuesday and Friday? So we could serve the patients. They love that. And you could, watch this. This is the magic words: keep your same hours. And, that's, it change. I agree with you. Change is difficult. But when you see these other people on the side of change who've hired associates like Dr. Todd Fleischman or Dr. Tarek, and they're so happy, we should look to them and say, wow, they are very happy with their decision. How could I do that?
Yeah, but I also want to mention, Paul, it all sounds great, but the practice owner has an obligation to evaluate their practice. You don't, I was a victim of this myself. You don't hire an associate to grow your practice. You hire an associate to make sure the growth you have seen continues, and you can take some time off.
Yeah, schedule flexibility.
Exactly. So I want that out there as well, so people don't use this as a practice growth. But I wanted to talk to you about this thing that I'm working on to bring a special to our group as well. But the fact that, how can we make these associates that are coming into our practices, or the DSOs, more efficient?
Well, this is what will bond DSOs and private practice owners together. They're faced with incorporating new dentists into their field, and they're able to, hold on, one interruption, Bob. Yes, here she is, the moderator of Dentist Job Connect and Dental Nachos. Wave to them. How can I help you? I'm talking with my friend. So see, that's real world dental life circus running. It's like parenting, Bob. But what I would want to share is DSOs and private practices both need to train their associates to be competent clinically and with their communication skills.
So yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about how we can make these associates more efficient and better skilled at their job.
There's two things that we do in our practice. We have a pretty awesome training program about patient communication, our systems, case acceptance. But one of the things we can't do for our associates is kind of those real world reps in private practice, right? How do they do extra? They of course can do some of the fundamental procedures, but I think things that are out there, Bob, are, going overseas to learn how to place implants, going to a course where you do tabletop root canals. But I think what's really missing is the repeated reps and how they can really, just like those guys who shoot free throws in the NBA at the end of practice, how do we create scenarios for associates to practice dentistry in a meaningful way without having the pressure of having a real patient in front of them? I think it's, it's an extraordinarily difficult challenge that medicine doesn't face because they do multiple year residencies with bigger, stronger doctors, where we kind of push these dentists out of the nest and say, figure it out.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I don't have experience on that. As I told you, I feel like we're going to give them a plug since they're not even open anymore. Loyola Dental School in Chicago literally educated us well. I'm very appreciative of what I had. But again, you and I both know that we hear a lot of things that they don't even let them do root canals.
Yeah, I mean, it's really toxic. I mean, imagine getting a degree in something, whether it was, being a chef and you'd never learned how to do pasta, and then you have to get out and have to do pasta. And it's because they had a specialty pasta program. I mean, we really should be willing to have these tough conversations. When people say dental school has such a hard job, yes, and like Gary Vee, and they got to do better. And they're collecting $700,000. And they're taking 4 years of their life to do this. So, I mean, Travis Campbell says all the time, here's the easiest way to get more experience. Make the fees in dental school cheaper. There, it's finished. Right. Midwestern Arizona does that. The root canals are $50. So no surprise, they get a lot of root canal patients. So, I'm kind of tired of hearing that dental school doesn't have enough money. I was talking with Dr. Mark Costas, Bob, and we were talking about one of those posts where one of the dental schools in California took money from a DSO because they needed more money, but they charged $700,000 per student. So $700,000 per student times 100 students, right? Times 100 students. What are they doing with all that money?
Yeah, it's amazing. I wanted to talk to you about this seminar that I'm coming to Philadelphia. First of all, I don't know if I ever mentioned it or not. If you've never been, anybody who's listening, if you've never been to a Dental Nachos event, this is the good time to start. But Paul does everything right. Everything is top notch.
Well, I'll make sure. Yeah, make sure it's fun. It's I really respect. I just got back from Ohio speaking for 2 days, and I really respect the time, the energy, the effort, more even so than the money, because, I do respect the money dentists put in, but, you spend a few $1,000s to develop your career. That's kind of normal at any age or stage for whatever profession you're in. But I really respect that people take the time to fly across the country. So I want it to be fun. I want them to meet new friends. I want them to get awesome learning. And I want them to feel like it's a bit nacho ordinary, to use a term, where, I bake in a lot of interaction with the sponsors and the other people, because I want people to feel like I left with new friends as much as they left with learning things, because these new friends, Bob, that's where the magic happens. That's where you buy a practice, find an associate. I mean, how about this? I'll say this. I know how to, my people, come to this event, Bob, because maybe someone there knows a hygienist you can hire. Now everybody's going to come, right?
For sure. I brought this page up before you did because I wanted to kind of look at it. I'm going to share this so maybe we can talk about it.
Sure. The event, as you bring it up, is April 20th to 23rd weekend in Center City, Philadelphia. The amazing Bob D's coming along with other Facebook group founders to this event. Here it is. Yep. It's
okay. So this is basically a 3-day course, right, Paul?
3-day
I got my tickets. I'm not even sure about the details myself. So it starts Thursday through Sunday.
What I want to share for my dental people, because I learned from my practice management coach, people don't argue with your own decisions. So you can come all 3 days or just 1 day, but I'll walk you through each day. So Thursday at 5 p.m. is a fun kickoff happy hour. You meet the people there, you check in with the sponsors, you get some free drinks and food, literally dentist's favorite thing, right, Bob? So they get some free drinks and food. Then on Friday with Dr. Lincoln Harris. So I just want to share, Bob, people say to me in a very flattering way, Paul, you have the biggest Facebook group out there. We have 46,000 people in Dental Nachos. So I'm proud to have grown it. It's not a contest, but Dr. Lincoln Harris has built over 80,000 followers of his Facebook group, Ripe Global Worldwide. And he's the featured speaker. So the two of us are going to be running this weekend. On Friday, it's going to be all about how to manage multiple dental practices, recruit amazing associates, and stay sane. It's business decisions, Bob. I have found we need help with the how to find a job, how to hire an associate. Do you want to buy a second practice? And here, but what's the deal with selling to a DSO or a private practice owner? One day you want to sell your practice, right, Bob?
Yes.
Are you closed off to selling to DSOs? I'm not.
Depends on what day you ask me.
Yeah.
But I am closed in selling to DSOs, absolutely. And we can discuss that. That's another day.
But I would share with you that one of the things I'll share with you to enlighten is I had a dentist who I was selling her practice $1.4 million a year. She made over $500,000 a year. She was kind of closed off to selling to DSOs. But when 6 private practice buyers told her no, she sold to a DPO, right? So she sold to a DPO,
right,
where she kept. So maybe we should say the traditional private practice buyer or another creative buyer. So we're going to talk about the differences for you to prepare and be aware. One of the things, Bob, I'll share is if people, there's a deal breaker with selling to a DPO or a DSO. You want a deal breaker? So if you're listening, here's the deal breaker. You don't want to work after you sell. So if you want to stay on for a few months, you're going to be selling to a private practice buyer. So whether it's a DPO or a DSO, just like keeping a quarterback on. So we're going to talk about that on Friday, how to recruit associates, how to make business decisions. Saturday, we're going to switch to full clinical, Lincoln Harris's treatment planning, case acceptance, restorative efficiency. He is a master with his training program. They're a sponsor of Dental Nachos too, of how to increase restorative efficiency for practice owners and associates. So that's Friday and Saturday. We have fun networking events. Then Sunday, we're going to have a half day. This is called, Bob, How to Avoid WTF Associate Jobs, Why These Fail. Okay, also the other version of that. And I am going to basically give interview tips for practice owners and associates. Then I'm going to give everybody a mimosa or orange juice of their choice. And they're going to walk around and talk to DSOs and private practice groups about associateships. And then we're going to come back in the room. And I believe that we can have better conversations. You see, Bob, that, you know, these income guarantee. Have you changed your mind on the income guarantee, Bob?
Absolutely. Since I met you, I want to actually tell you, you know, you brought this up. I distinguish very strongly between DSOs and DPOs. When I say DSOs, I'm talking about the traditional DSOs. DPOs are a very intriguing subject for me, and I actually like the idea. So if you're bunching them together, no, I am not closed to the idea.
And that's what we're going to learn this weekend. You know,
exactly. Come and find out about the DPOs, because that is very, very you know, attractive to myself, actually.
I want to share, Bob. I mean, my goal, if anyone watched Game of Thrones, I was a big Game of Thrones fan. I'm like Jon Snow. I went beyond the wall. I work in these businesses. I come back and I report to everybody, right? I don't get any credit. I didn't go to school for this, but I'm in this business world. And I was in Ohio, and a 37-year-old sold to a DPO. He's 37 years old. He has no plans of retiring. He has no plans of hanging up the handpiece, but he loves the support from the DPO for the business. And he said, yes, it's different than being a private practice owner, but it's not the same as selling to a DSO in full. So the DPO may represent to you the right. We always talk about this, Bob, right? The right treatment plan for the right patient, right? It always depends. What does the patient want? Are you on board with that?
Yeah. And you know, again, although I'm close to the traditional DSO, that may be perfect for someone else. I don't bash them or anybody. It's just, you got to do what's best for your patients. And that's where I come from. And we can talk about that. Hey, Paul, I wanted to ask you about this weekend. So someone can come here and choose the whole 3-day weekend. And I've appreciated you have an affiliate deal.
You can save money with Bob D.
Discount. Yeah, affiliate deal discount for us. So they pay what? $9.95.
$9.95 for the whole weekend. And then we broke, and team members or non-dentists are $7.95. You have a discount code you can share with people so they can save.
Right.
Then they can just pick, hey, you want to come just learn about the business part on Friday? You can pick that for $4.95 and use Bob D's code. I mean, I have to share the Saturdays a can't miss. I mean, whether you're an associate, a private practice owner, a 70-year-old owner, a 50-year-old owner, Doc, what he's going to do on Saturday from Australia, you just really don't want to miss that clinical enhancement of your efficiency and case acceptance. And then you can just pick Sunday if you like, if you want to just come for the interactive job fair and learning about the wild and wacky world of associateships. And what I want to share, Bob, is when I have these groups like a DPO at a group, a DSO, a private practice group like Dr. Arash. Dr. Arash is going to be there from Missouri. Everyone's be able to just talk to people, right? Ask them some good questions. You know, Arash has grown to 5 locations. He's getting another location. Just say, it's amazing. Just say, hey, Arash, what's that look like? You know, how hard is it to run multiple? He has like kind of a COO of what he does. You know, many of these dentists who have multiple practices, they sometimes do it like with their literally their hair on fire, and he can give you insight. So I'm very excited for all these people to be in the same room, you included, and have these conversations about clinical dentistry, the business of dentistry, communication, and, you know, my signature, what they didn't teach us in dental school. That's really important.
Right. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. And you know, I'm before this year, I've never been to Philadelphia, but now I come often because my son lives there, but also to meet up with you guys. And it's a great CE event. If you guys have never been there, it's worth taking a couple of days off.
Are you gonna make it? I know, Bob, I know you very well, become good friends, but I know you have a little bit of my wife in you. You're particular. You're not going to give stuff credit that doesn't deserve credit, right? So Elvez, you're going to make an Elvez stop while you're there?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's our family favorite now. You know, you just go out and have nice Mexican food, which is our favorite, and Elvez was a great choice, and it's close to everything. You know, you can walk everything in Philadelphia.
We got a hotel deal. We got a hotel deal, on-site hotel deal for everybody. You do not need to rent a car, right, Bob? You just take the Uber for the weekend into Philly.
Correct.
And, you know, I'm going to share, Bob, is, you know, we become friends and, you know, we help each other. This is sort of my Gary V guilt economy thing. Have you spent time learning from dental nachos and dentistry in general? Do you say to Bob D and Paul Goodman, we're so glad that you exist, because otherwise we would feel alone and afraid. And we feel there's so much camaraderie, and we've used your sponsors and we've helped you and DM'd us. Well, here is how you can pay us back. Put your face in Philadelphia with us, buy us a coffee, give us a high five. And I say in all seriousness, Bob, there are things that cannot be done online that can be done in person. I flew to Ohio for 2 days to speak to these dentists. Maybe you could just tell your audience, as someone who's, you know, maybe 10 years past me, what is the value even for you to go to these in-person events as a practice owner?
I'm going to tell you a quick story, how an in-person event changed my life and would have actually been better if I'd done it earlier. We have a little dental meeting in our own town. It's not affiliated with anyone. We just our dentists get together and we have a CE course, and a lot of them are probably watching this. And I met a dentist there. I had always heard about him, and he pointed me to the spot next door to him. He said, "Hey, that's empty. Come if you're looking for a place to build." So I went there. Long story short, I took that spot, that business condo, bought it and built it. But he was selling his practice, and he had sold 2 months before that meeting. I could have bought him out rather than spending all this money.
That's magic happens over mimosas, coffees, nachos. You cannot replicate walking around and talking to sponsors and someone going, oh my gosh, you need a job in San Diego? My dentist client is about to sell his practice. And, you know, I've used this closing line many times in this one video, Bob, and it was, no one really likes the dentist, so we may as well like each other. And these events are for us to bond, vent, learn. And, you know, I'm so glad you're promoting this for us and helping us drive attendance, because, I mean, I believe if in-person events go away, it's going to be not so great for dentistry. And there's a lot of expense, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. All you have to do is just show up and, you know, have some food, have some fun, and meet some friends.
Yeah, and there is a reason the corporate world has networking events.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there is a reason for a place in one of my least favorite social media platform, LinkedIn, that won't leave me alone with emails
Yeah.
and
I know.
messages. There is a reason it's very popular with the business world, because people like connections. So you don't know what you need in the next 3 days or 3 months or 3 years.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll share this in the most, value-driven way. I prioritize helping people that show up to my events and support me. When people DM me and say, I need 17 minutes of your time for free, it doesn't mean that I don't help them. It's just that when you're an Arash, when you're a Tarek, when you're Greg, when you're a Darcy, and I know you, I know, hey, it's just like with friends. I mean, when your friends don't show up to your parties, your friends don't show up to help you on the weekends, but they want help. So it's not me being tough. It's just me encouraging dentists to get to more in-person CE. And you're always glad you did it. I kind of dragged you to the last one, and you had a great time.
Yeah, I want to address something else. I know we're short on time as well. These in-person events also raise your spirits.
Right.
This is a very lonely profession, and we can get lost in our own thoughts. And I know we've had some tragedy in the past couple of months. Get out there and see people. I'm really bad at it. I'd love to be by myself and my dog and not, but these in-person events has helped me to actually develop my social skills a little bit more.
Yeah. And what I said at the end of the ASDA keynote, which was really, they liked, was, and we've had some tragedy. One of my own friends who came to, who I knew died by suicide recently. And I used him as the ending story of ask help, give help, get help, right? Ask for help, give help, get help. And maybe you're the giver of help. Maybe you're someone who shows up and says, I want to inspire someone for private practice, champion private practice. There's people who start them doing. Maybe you're somebody who's owned multiple practices, and maybe you want to get help, right? Maybe you say, do you know that there's dentists working 6 days a week? And some of these dentists, I don't know who these are, they work on Saturdays too, Bob. And maybe if they got an associate, they would get some help. So we're going to have a fun time. You have a special code. People can go to dentalnachos.com to check it out. You can share your discount code in the link, and I'm really excited for another fun time.
Thanks a lot, Paul. As always, it's good to have you, and hopefully we can have a good time in April.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And they should come and see Lincoln. Lincoln here is amazing as far as his educational programs and everything else goes.
Meeting him in person is worth the entire time. Seeing him in person, it's impossible to describe without it. He's a giant. Just in addition to being tall, he's a giant of what we do. Come out and see how he can help you do better, feel better, dentist better.
Great. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Have a nice football Sunday.
Yeah, I will. Thanks, Bob.